Gojo the Honored One is back, everyone, absolutely clapping Sukuna and not having a moment to hesitate. Chapter 231 actually starts off by setting up just how badly Sukuna is getting rocked. Kusakabe kicks it off by asking if anyone has received a serious punch from Gojo, to which Akari and Okotsu reply with wary looks on their face. We learn from Kusakabe that Gojo's punches utilize both cursed energy and the blue technique, using blue to repeatedly absorb the surrounding space at the moment of impact. So it seems like Gojo is amplifying the impact by utilizing a pulling motion into it as well. Akari even describes it as getting hit by a counterattack. It had essentially made both of them puke from just getting hit by it, which is saying a lot for someone like Akari, seeing as his cursed energy is literally described as being hit with a serrated bat or sandpaper. We even get a flashback from Nanami. Honestly, a nice yet somber surprise, but even the Black Flash record holder states that Gojo is able to perform critical hit jabs like nothing and can't be kept up with. We see Ino looking down after this flashback, which is kind of a stand-in for the entire community at this point. It's weird to say, but this will probably be the last time Nanami is truly seen in the series. But now after this exposition of just how bad Sukuna is being whooped, we go straight back into where we left off. Sukuna, with Gojo's fist lodged into his face, getting dragged through surrounding environment like it's made of paper. This is followed up with Sukuna being tossed and swallowed by the blue technique and the surrounding debris. Sukuna breaks out and goes for a counterattack, only to narrowly avoid being stomped in the ground by Gojo. Yeah, he thinks he's slick, but we all know he isn't. Sukuna seems to be switching between having a grin and the fear of God on his face. Sukuna seems shocked, just like the rest of us, to find several after images of Gojo directly behind him. Yes, they're not clones, just after images, likely utilizing both Gojo's speed and space manipulation. Sukuna is quick to catch on, and this results in a small break in the fight as Gojo backs up onto a traffic light, during which Sukuna's wheel turns and begins adapting. Gojo takes this moment to reflect on just what has been happening. Throughout the chapter, we can see Sukuna's wheel turn black at several points. This is because of Sukuna activating domain amplification to make contact with Gojo and cancel his limitless technique. Because of this though, the wheel can't make an adaptation during amplification, as all techniques are disabled for both the user and the opponent. In the process of elimination, Gojo makes the connection amplification isn't a barrier technique like expansion, which is why despite the area of the brain for expansion being damaged, Sukuna can still use amplification. To also avoid being adapted to, Gojo has only been using blue. At least, that's what I'm making of from this explanation. This fight doesn't leave much time for long-winded explanations and understandings. Everyone begins discussing why Sukuna hasn't brought out Mahoraga, and if the wheel needs multiple turns to adapt to Gojo's limitless technique, when they're interrupted by Gojo himself telling Sukuna to pay attention. He then explains that Sukuna needs 4 spins total, and therefore 3 more are needed. Only then will Mahoraga adapt to infinity. Everyone seems shocked by this statement. I think there's a lot of possibilities behind just why Gojo decided to speak up. This could be some form of a binding vow to make Gojo stronger in some aspect by revealing information. I also think this could be a red herring in order to distract and mislead Sukuna. While Mahoraga has already adapted to Unlimited Void, Infinity is another monster in itself. It contains, to our knowledge, the base application of Infinity, which is the power to stop, blue, which is the power to pull, and red, the power to repel, as well as the hollow technique, purple, an infusion of the two. Since Sukuna seems to have adapted to blue this chapter, red, base infinity, and purple seem to be left. But there's one additional technique that Gojo could have up his sleeve, a maximum technique. I believe Gojo is saving this specifically for when Sukuna finally believes he has fully adapted, to completely finish off Mahoraga. There's a lot of mystery factors at play though, like how it's even a possibility that Mahoraga adapted to purple back when Sukuna took the hit at the start of the fight, or how the adaptation of blue and red could even automatically mean adaptation to purple. You're just going to have to wait and see in this regard. Gojo gives an eerily big smile to Sukuna and proclaims yet again he will beat him dead before he can even get the chance to adapt. This is probably one of my favorite panels in the manga now. At the same time, it's kind of creepy. Angel and Itadori go on to discuss if Gojo has forgotten about Megumi during this fight. But let's just hope he hasn't. There's always a chance that some form of a binding vow or reverse curse technique could bring Megumi back even if Gojo beats his body to a pulp. So, it seems that this chapter ends off with Gojo having the upper hand. But just as we've already seen during this fight plenty of times, the scale is constantly shifting. At any moment, the tides could turn. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gojo continuing to overpower Sukuna next chapter, only to have it completely flip onto him losing his Limitless in 233. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know all your thoughts down below as well as any feedback you might have. If you'd like to keep up to date on JJK, I'd appreciate a subscribe so you can join me again in the future. Make sure to have a great week. I'll see you all later.